Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, my location's a little bit different. I'm visiting my mom in Philly, but I'm back with another how much I spent and my experience video. If you didn't know, I recently went to Jamaica with my mother. You can click the card at the top in case if you haven't watched it, you can go ahead and watch it, of course, after this video. Today, I'm gonna talk about how much I spent, give you my tips in case if you want to visit Jamaica for the first time. Let's get started. So I found some really cheap tickets through my travel portal, through Frontier, which I'll never fly again. Frontier and Spirit, they're off my list. But yeah, I found some really cheap tickets. So round trip from Dallas Fort Worth to Montego Bay, non-stop, 3 hours, was $337.12. Moving on to accommodations, my mom and I stayed at the Hilton Rose Hall Resort and Spa. Such a long name, but it's an all-inclusive resort. Literally, when you leave the airport and you make a left, there are so many all-inclusive resorts on that street. Like the Sandals Resort is there, the Hyatt is nearby, the Hiltons, of course. So it was my mom's birthday and I surprised her by paying for our stay at the hotel, which was a little pricey. You know, I'm still recovering. But yeah, for 2 people, 5 nights, it was $2,712.25. Now, because I paid almost $3,000 for the resort, my mom did pay for like one excursion and then my souvenir. But in total, I spent $3,049.37. If you visit Jamaica, you probably won't be spending as much as I did, but it's because it's my mom's birthday, I paid for it. Now I want to share some tips with you in case if you want to go to Jamaica. These are some things that I wish I knew before visiting. So these are 4 things that I think you should bring when visiting Jamaica for the first time. Number 1 is mosquito spray. I bought off spray, which should be called on, because the mosquitoes were on me the whole entire time. I used the off spray every day and I still had a lot of mosquito bites. I was itching like crazy, like they were all over my legs. My mom didn't even use it once and she was fine. Everyone's different. Now, if you typically get mosquito bites, bring it. You are going to need it. It's funny because you don't feel it when it's happening. When they're biting you and sucking your blood, you don't feel it. But afterwards, I mean, you just feel so itchy. And I didn't have anything to treat my mosquito bites. I didn't have aloe vera. I didn't have any cream. So I was so uncomfortable the whole entire time. Please bring mosquito spray. Don't buy it at the resort because the resort, they spike up the prices. So you don't want to pay $30 for mosquito spray. The second thing is sunscreen. I feel like this is really obvious, but you definitely do not want to leave without it. Make sure you have one for your face. Make sure you have like a lip balm that has SPF because my lips did get a little darker when I got back. Also, make sure you have like body sunscreen as well. So you're gonna need 3. There was a whole situation in the airport, but basically my sunscreen was taken away from me. So I ended up buying sunscreen at the resort and it was $29. Yeah, it's really expensive. So please don't forget your sunscreen. The third thing that is a must is a portable fan. I'm telling you, you are going to need this. It is hot. You hear my voice? Hot there. Now, I live in Texas, you guys know. But it's a different type of hot in Texas. This hot in Jamaica gets you sweating, okay? It makes your skin very oily. I was patting my face the entire time. It is super hot. And you're gonna be outside, you know, you're gonna be swimming, doing water activities, walking around. You're gonna need a portable fan. Luckily, my mom brought one, which was super helpful, but you're gonna need a portable fan. So go to your Target, your Walmart, Dollar Tree, wherever, and get a portable fan. The last thing I think is a must is to bring a blue or black pen. When you get to the airport, you're going to have to fill out a form. I can't remember what the form is, but you need to fill out a form. And all I had was a pencil. I didn't have a blue or black pen, and a lot of people didn't come prepared. So we were waiting for maybe 10 to 15 minutes just for a pen, just to fill out the form. Make sure you just come prepared with a pen because it'll make it a little easier. Also, when you get to the Montego Bay airport, you're gonna fill out the form, and then there are gonna be people directing you to a kiosk, which I guess makes it faster once you get to the desk after the kiosk. You know, they'll ask you questions like, oh, why are you here? How long are you staying? Blah, blah, blah. It just makes it easier if you just go to the kiosk first. But the thing is, when you go to the kiosk, they don't stamp your passport. And I really wanted my passport stamped. So he told me because I went to the kiosk before I came to the desk. But if you want your passport stamped, skip the kiosk and just go straight to the line where, you know, you're asked a couple of questions. Okay, I feel like this is a no-no everywhere you go, but in general, you should not exchange money at the airport. The rate is much lower there, but also Jamaicans prefer US dollars. So if you want to tip is not required, it's always appreciated. But if you do want to tip using US dollars. They actually prefer that, and this is what I was told when I was there. They prefer US dollars. We actually didn't bring cash, we forgot, so we tipped some people using Cash App and Venmo. Now there's some people who don't have those apps, so at the Hilton Rose Hall they did have an ATM, but the fee was like $6.90. So if you want to lose $6 I guess it depends, you know, on the resort, but I feel like most ATMs there at each of the resorts, there's going to be some sort of fee. So if you want to skip out on that fee, just bring US dollars. Do not exchange at the airport. You don't need to have Jamaican dollars at all. So I feel like everyone wants to know this when they visit a country is that country safe? Is Jamaica safe? Well, we actually had this discussion with our taxi driver. He mentioned that the media wants you to believe that Jamaica is not safe, but it truly is. Same thing with Mexico, right? You hear, ooh, like Mexico is unsafe, you shouldn't go there, cartels and all. But my mom and I actually went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico a couple of months ago, and we felt safe. It really depends where in Mexico, right? It really depends where in Jamaica, I guess. I felt safe at the resort. Like, there's no issues with that. But when we went outside the resort, we went to the hip strip, we got a lot of stares. Like, people were like literally standing around, kind of like, you know, Brooklyn or Philly, you know, in the city where people are kind of standing around looking at people pass by, but like people were just literally just staring at us like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I felt so uncomfortable. And my mom and I did like stick out because I guess everyone knew that we weren't from there. I guess because we were looking and taking pictures and all. But yeah, I felt a little uncomfortable. I didn't feel fearful. I don't know if the area was dangerous. Hip Strip is like a touristy place to go to if you want to get souvenirs. I did feel a little uncomfortable. So if a friend asked me, Maryam, should I stay at a resort if I visit Jamaica? I would say yes. Stay at a resort because it's safe. If you want to go out, go out. Make sure you're with a group of people. Sometimes you can hire guides if you want to go to the countryside. You can. Taxi driver offered to take us to his side. He lived in the countryside, so he was like, "Oh, I can take you around," and blah blah blah. And we were just like, we said no, thank you, because we were already paying $80 for him to take us to Hip Strip, and I think going to his countryside and him staying with us probably would have been an extra $100, so we declined. But I mean, it is a stranger, but I felt kind of safe with him. Again, Jamaica relies on tourism, kind of like Puerto Vallarta, so they know not to do anything to like visitors. Like, they'll lose first of all, you'll lose your job, right? So the taxi driver would lose their job if they did anything, but also it's a really bad look for Jamaica, and they rely on people coming there. I would say stay at the resort. You can always come out and visit the locals. That's totally fine, and go with someone, you know. You can always get a guide on TripAdvisor or Viator. Even they had, like, at the resort, they had their own taxi drivers there, so if you needed to go somewhere, like, you know, you can easily get a cab and they'll take you and bring you back. So that's all I have to say about safety. I don't know how safe it is. I felt you're totally fine at the resort, but outside the resort, I don't really know. Now, our taxi driver did give us some tips. As soon as we got to the Hip Strip, he let us out and he said a couple of things. He said number one is that people will come up to you and sell you weed. And he said that the weed there in Jamaica is extremely strong. So if someone offers you, you know, weed and you don't want it, you could just say no thank you, I'm good, but also don't sniff it. He said it's so strong that he had one person get out, they actually sniffed it and they kind of like passed out, like their eyes rolled back because it's so strong. And if your body's not used to that, you know, that could be very dangerous. So he said to be careful of that, number one. Secondly, he said to hide our resort band. So when you stay at the Hiltons, you get a band and you have to show it every time, you know, you eat. But we had it on while we were on the hip strip, and he said just be careful, like hide that, because you know, if they see that, they know that you're at a hotel and you're not from here, and they can possibly take advantage of you, especially if you go to like the souvenir shops. The prices are super high. Luckily, our taxi driver Ricardo was so nice. He actually took us to a shop where his friends work at. They're all Indians. They came from Pakistan and now they're Jamaican. They were just so nice. But I can't remember the name of the souvenir shop, but if you go all the way down Hip Strip, you'll see a store. They're literally all Indians. The employees are all Indians. That's where you want to go. They have like a 40% discount. All the other places could like increase the price just because they see that you're not from there. So something to note. So how was my time at the resort? Well, I had a fantastic time. It was actually my first time staying at an all-inclusive resort. So unlimited food, snacks. They had a teen zone, so if you have kids, I think it's a perfect place to bring kids. They had a lot of kids activities. They had performances at night. They have like something called a cricket club where there's karaoke, there's pool, you can dance. Of course, they have several pools, water slide, lazy river, water sports like kayaking, paddleboard, parasailing. They had a tennis court. I mean, there was just so much to do. They had volleyball. We did so much, so you definitely won't run out of things to do. Again, like, I feel like you haven't been to Jamaica if you just stay at a resort. It's nice to go out and see the locals and do other things. Even if you don't feel comfortable like walking the streets, you can just go to an excursion. So we did bamboo rafting. The links to all the activities in the hotels will be in the description box down below. But we did bamboo rafting, and that was really nice because we got to see the locals, we got to talk to them. It was a really nice experience. Some people like to go to the lagoons. I've heard that's really cool. Some people like to do horseback riding, ATVs, riding ATVs. That's something that you can do. Again, I feel like to lay your head and have a peace of mind, stay at the resort, but come out and visit the locals, talk to them. And the food was amazing at the Hiltons. I don't know how the reviews are, but the food was good to me. They actually have authentic Jamaican food. I tried ackee and saltfish and it was really good. They have people climbing up the palm trees, getting coconuts for you. Like, it was amazing. So if you want the Jamaican experience, you can stay at the resort, but the true Jamaican experience, you want to go outside. So they do have Jamaican food there, that's for sure. A lot of the performances, it's all Jamaican music, so it's really nice, but it's also nice if you go out. The employees at the resort were super friendly. They were so nice. If you needed help with anything, if you had a question, you know, they would be happy to answer it. Everybody was so kind. I didn't come across one person that was rude. Everybody was like, please, thank you. How are you enjoying your stay? Is there anything I can do for you? Everybody was just so nice. So I recommend the Hiltons. I enjoyed my time there. Well, I think that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it helpful. Again, I recommend the Hiltons. I enjoyed my time there. It's very close to the airport. I also do recommend paying in advance for an airport transfer. I believe when we paid, it was like 100 something for 2 people round trip, and it's nice not having to think about, oh, like, do I get a Lyft or Uber or taxi? I believe taxis are really expensive, and I don't know if Lyft or Uber works there, so I think you're just left with a taxi option, and I don't know if they have meters there, so they could just come up with any price. So it's just better to pay for your airport transfer. The link is in the description box down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!